Hello, my name is Fabiola. In this presentation, we are going to learn about the desert life. This is a presentation that I would like to show my third graders before we go on our yearly field trip to the Chihuahuan Desert. This field trip is provided by the Asombro Institute. This would be a good way for the students to have some background knowledge before they go and some activities to follow. We're going to start by talking about the deserts that are in the United States, and these are just the major ones. We have the Great Basin Desert, the Mojave Desert, the Sonoran Desert, and the Chihuahuan Desert. This presentation will focus on the Chihuahuan Desert because it is the one that we are going to visit in our field trip, as well as the one that we live in. The Chihuahuan Desert has high elevations. In the winter it freezes. It has small cacti, and the shrubs are the most common plant. Like you can see, the Chihuahuan Desert expands itself between Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, but the majority of it is in Mexico. We are going to start by talking about the weather in the Chihuahuan Desert. The rainy season is between June and September. That's when we get 65% of our total rainfall. Then we have our light rainfall from October to December. And then we have the most vegetation growth during the rainy season, which was again in June and September. Then we enter our drought season between January and May, which is when you see all the plants very dry and we have very little green in our desert. Then we are going to start going on to talking about the plants in our desert. The plants in the Chihuahuan Desert are drought resistant, which means they can be without water for a long period of time. The desert plants adapt to the dry climate. The shrubs are dominant in the desert, which means that's what's our most common plant. And we have small trees that grow on rocky slopes or streamways. The first plant we're going to focus on is going to be the barrel cactus. The barrel cactus has a thick skin, its barrel-shaped body, and it has long hooked spines. It usually has yellow or red flowers and fruit that grow only at the top of the plant. It usually lives between 50 to 100 years, and it usually grows from 2 to 4 feet tall, but it could be larger. The next one we have is the ocotillo. The ocotillo is a large shrub with long spiny stems, it has small 2-inch leaves that grow on the stems if there's enough moisture. And it usually lives between 60 to 100 years and grows to about 20 feet tall. Then we have the creosote bush. This is a shrub that has small, pointed yellow-green leaves that have adapted to conserve water and to tolerate heat. The leaves have a fragrance on them, and the fragrance is stronger after the rain. They grow about 4 feet tall, but sometimes taller with lots of rain. Next, we have the yucca plant. The yucca plant is not a cactus, but it is rather an evergreen shrub or a small tree with long leaves that grow between 2 to 4 feet long. They can grow up to 16 feet tall. The clusters of bellflowers that bloom in the springtime, and they usually live for about 20 years. The next we have is the honey mesquite, which is a drought-tolerant plant with very long roots that can be up to 190 feet long. They are the size of shrubs, but they can also grow into trees that are about 20 to 30 feet tall. They have long seed pods that could be ground into flour for cooking. Then we move it into the prickly pear cactus. The prickly pear has broad, flat green pads with 3-inch spines. Yellow flowers bloom in early summer. They have ripe fruit that's called tuna or prickly pears that are found in July. They live about 20 years and they grow about 5 feet tall and 10 to 15 feet wide. Now we are going to move on to talking about animals. Some of the animals that are in our Chihuahuan Desert are the mountain lions, bobcats, bighorn sheep, coyote, mule deer, pronghorn antelope, jackrabbit, western diamondback, rattlesnake, turkey vulture, colored lizard, red-tailed hawk, or the rock squirrel, and the roadrunner. We are going to move on to talk about the predator side of the animals, which is the animals that usually prey on other animals or eat other animals. They are usually larger and stronger. and they're always carnivores. Some will eat the young of the larger enemies to help keep the competition to a minimum in future hunts for food. The cats that hunt that are predators are mountain lions and bobcats, and they require water to digest, so they usually hunt near streams and springs. We're now moving on to the prey side of the animals, and they are usually smaller than predators. They are mostly herbivores. Their defenses include camouflage, mimicry, warning systems, and chemical defenses. Some of the prey animals that are more commonly preyed on are the jackrabbits, the roadrunners, the collared lizards, the rock squirrels, and the mule deers. We are now going to move on to something that is called microclimates, which we have in our desert. And these are small areas with a different climate to its surrounding. It's said to have its own microclimate. Microclimates are influenced by air temperature, sunlight, shade, air movement, wind, or humidity. Some examples of the microclimates would be your lawn, city, gardens, ponds, parking lot, small desert areas. Like we can see, this is a diagram of how a microclimate works. The next picture will surprise you because it is about cows, and I know that is not a desert animal. But the Sombro Institute actually has some cows housed in that will show us, and they have studied the digestive system. So we're going to talk a little bit about the cows. The cows are ruminant animals, which means they have a large stomach with 4 chambers or compartments. Cows spend about 20 hours of their day eating and digesting food. A cow's rumen has its own microclimate. They are protozoa in the cow's rumen, which helps it digest the plant and the fibers. So we will explore the difference of the digestive systems, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.